Right now, that's my title, but I also do outreach for the whole southeast area of Alabama. In Alabama, please understand that what we do, everything is on a local NRCS office where we do things. And, whatever county you in, that's the office that it started at. All process, like I said, start local. I'm going to go through some of these real fast, but we try to make sure in this first part we indicate to you that whatever county you in and what we're saying today, pretty much every county have these same programs. You can contact anybody in the local NRCS office about any of these programs. The main thing in here that we must remember to be eligible for program, for any of our cost share program, you must be considered to be an agricultural producer. To be an agricultural producer, you must be producing $1,000 worth of agricultural commodities. It doesn't say sell, buying, it's just producing it. So if you're in an operation that produces $1,000, then you consider the ag producer. There's other eligibilities that you must make, but we're not going to go through all of them. And all that's come from the local, the book, really. We must follow the directions of the book. Limited resource producer. Now these are special producers, and I think some of you in here probably qualify for this, but all these programs is open to anybody. And if you fit in this category for limited resource producer, then you can receive extra funding. One program is limited resource producer. To be a limited resource producer, and this was taken from the Geneva County. Every county may be a little bit different, but the $146,400 per year, you cannot make more than that. Your adjusted gross income from your income tax that you file, that bottom line on your front page, cannot exceed $22,050. That's in Geneva County. Now, pretty much every county is going to be a little bit the same. Not going to be much difference in them. Underserved producers are any individual who participate or have been limited by participating, which include tribes, minority, disabled, limited resource farmers and ranchers, small-scale farmers, as well as new and beginning farmers. Anybody that fits in this category is considered to be an underserved producer. New and beginning farmer. If you're a new and beginning farmer, then if you've been farming less than 10 years, then you're considered a new and beginning farmer. Now, what you'd be eligible for is 90% cost share if you fit it with any of these first categories that we talked about. And, if you fit with any of these, make sure you go into the local NRCS office. And our main program that we have with NRCS is our EQUIP program. It's called the Environmental Quality Incentive Program. That's short for EQUIP. Another program is Conservation Stewardship Program. And I'm going to talk briefly about all of these in a few minutes. The wildlife habitat, if you got trees or you want to improve your land to wildlife, then you qualify. Now keep in mind, every producer that produces $1,000 worth of income is eligible for any of these programs. Those other three categories, you can get extra funding, and you may qualify for some other type of practices that we don't normally do. The Environmental Quality Incentive Program is a USDS program. This is our biggest one. It finances over 64 conservation practices that you can do in that program. Crop, pasture, hay, woods, headquarters will be if you got a chicken operation, a poultry operation, that would be your headquarters. Financial assistance is given to historically underserved producers, like we were just talking about. County and statewide funding pool. You also, in Alabama, you are eligible to, if you fall within those categories, three categories I talked about: limited resource producer, historically underserved, or new and beginning farm. Most of those practices is funded from our state office. If you qualify for those, then you'll be considered in that category for the state office funding pool. Again, I'm going to go through all of these real quick, and these are the categories, but you also got, every county got a pool of money that they operate from. And these are the practices: social disadvantage, new beginning farming, organic. These are the ones that we do in our state office. And I'm going to talk real briefly about some of them in a minute. But you also got erosion control and grazing land in your county office that you can be eligible for. of water and irrigation. Now, organic farming, this is the only one right now where you can still, if you want to become organic certified, we don't help you become organic certified. We help you transition to that point. And we got some funding that's available right now that ends on June the 1st. The deadline for that for signing up. Everything else has been, funding for this year has been cut off except the organic funding. So if you want to transition into doing organic, then you may qualify. But you must be in a transitioning period, and we'll help you with that, assist you with it. It does not mean that you become certified. Another practice that you can do is your limited resource in the other categories. You can do micro irrigation. That's where you put the plastic down and irrigate up under it. Eligibility for that. All of these practices now have some eligibilities, and we're not going to get into that today, but you can see where you put the plastic down and you do your watering up under there. You can also qualify for a well if needed. You also, this is equipment that we had in Geneva County where you can actually put the plants out as you go along. Another category is the woodland grazing, the practice that's done through the state office. That's where you can put small ruminants into an area and fence them in and graze them in a wooded area. It provides for the keeping down the understudy and undergrowth. And categories that for that you must meet, we're going to flip right through those. So we're limited in time, but all of them got eligibility, and most of the livestock like to the wooded leaves more than they do the other one. One thing that we want to talk about that's been real successful here in Alabama is walk-in tunnels. Some call them tunnel houses, some call them greenhouses, some call them poop houses. But Alabama has been real progressive in putting these in. We had over 100 producers last year that got funded in this. If you're doing organic, you can still sign up under the tunnel house and get funding for this practice right now, if you meet all of the eligibility up to June the 1st. Its primary purpose for it is to extend the growing season. You can qualify for 30 by 72, which is the maximum size of 2,178 square feet. If you're a regular producer, you get $2.13 a square feet. And if you're historical, underserved, and those other three categories we talked about, you get $2.55 a square feet. So if you think you're eligible, make sure you go into your local office. Here's one that's actually done right here in this area. And this is where the crops are planted directly into the soil. You must plant the crops directly into the soil. You can see they have roll-up sides on them, and what it does is it allows you to extend the growing season. About all kind of vegetables can be grown under that. I think Mr. Snell was one of them. He worked with Mr. A.G. really to figure out what the best crops to grow. This was tomato. He had squash planted in between the rows right here. Some of these pictures may not show up as good on the wall, but Wildlife Habitat Incentive Program, we're not going to talk too much about that. If you got wooded areas and you want to increase your wildlife production, there is a program for that, so make sure you go in. And, go right through here. And the Conservation Security Program is actually where they will pay you, kind of like CRP. You get a payment for just continuing to do what you're doing on your land for conservation. And FSA must provide information to FSA to be eligible. And Larry will talk about that in a few minutes, but you got the 1026 and several forms that you must start with. Now, Wetland Reserve Program is another one. If you got wet areas, you may want to go into your local office. Farm and Ranch Land Protection. I want to show you real quick, get to the tunnel house, how we put up the tunnel house. And we'll be going into other areas and actually taking more time with doing this. We just got so many folks on the agenda today. We're going to go right through it, and actually it's the in and out of our program anyway, so some of these things could change with the payment limitations and all. But at the end here, I really want to show you where you can actually, if you get a tunnel house, and a lot of folks are still taking advantage of that.